Hi, I'm Chaplain Marlowe with the 724 Engineer Battalion. We're here at the remains or the ruins of Ur. You can look through the scriptures and find that, and I know Genesis 20 or chapter 12, probably Genesis chapter 25. It's well known because of Abraham, the one mentioned throughout the Old Testament, the patriarch of this, not only this area, but also of the Muslim faith, of the Christian faith, and also the Jewish faith, is described in scripture as being from this area. Behind me you'll see a large structure that is a ziggurat. There's a local curator who will be giving us a tour here in a few minutes, and he will tell us how this structure is one that is originally one that they went up on top of to worship the moon god, and he will go through that. Throughout in this area there are many different remains and ruins that were dug up, and some of them have been restored. One of them that we will be seeing has been rebuilt, that they figure is the home of Abraham's father, which would be the birthplace of Abraham as they put that all together. But the curator does pretty good English. He's a local one. He is, I believe, third generation curator, and he will be giving us that tour, and he will have all those details for you. But we just wanted to introduce us a little bit because this is Ur of Chaldees. The structure behind me is a worship mound that the religion of that faith used to be able to worship what I said, as I said, the moon god. And then also we'll be touring some of the other ruins in this area. So, welcome, enjoy your tour.
Kind of an interesting little side note.
Good view today. Chapter 1, where we started out with life.
The Sumerian also the first who putting the beginning of the writing in the world, the kind of that writing called iconographic. This is the beginning of the writing, like pictures. And then they developed it and they called it cuneiform. And after that 50 years became another writing in Egypt called hieroglyphic writing. The Sumerian also the first one invented the first wheel. Wheel in that time not car. The first idea, wheel of courage. The name of this building called the Ziggurat of Ur. They built it during the third dynasty, 2113 years before Christ, and they used it for the worship temple of the moon god. The name of the god at that time called Sin or Nanar. If we translated Sin or Nanar from the Sumerian language to the English language, it means the moon god. The height of this building in the past 26 meters, now 17 meters and 25 centimeters. So some of the third level destroyed, and in the past temple on the third level also destroyed from the years, because the storms and the rain and the sun always affected on the tops. The name of the king who built this building called King Ur-Nammu. So the city now called Ur, because the name of the famous king, the founder of the third dynasty, called King Ur-Nammu. Ur-Nammu, he became the king of Ur for 17 years, 2113, 2096 years before Christ. So this building, solid building, inside it, no chambers, no rooms. If you going around the building, not entrance, only 3 stairs. To go upstairs, they thought they became closer to the moon. The main god in that time in this city, the moon. Why they putting these small holes in the wall? Because this building solid. Inside it from mud bricks and only enveloped by bricks. So when it was raining, some of the water of the rain enter inside the wall. The drops of the rain go out from these small holes. Another benefit, the air enter inside the wall and became dry easily. The third benefit, in the past they used tar between the bricks, like now they use cement, and tar had expansibility. So they left these joints, these holes as joints for expansion. Like now they left some joints in the railway line in the big building for expansion. This is imagination picture to the ziggurat in the past. In the past, 1, 2, 3 levels, temple on the third level. Now the temple on the third level destroyed, and here arch destroyed. This is imagination picture. Another building, this building here beside the writing, called Nanmah Temple. In the beginning they used it temple, and then they changed it and they used it, in the beginning they used it store, sorry. And then they changed it and they used it temple, called Nanmah. The meaning of Nanmah, the great prince. This building here called Idublalmah Temple. This temple built by the Sumerian and rebuilt by Babylonian and Chaldean king called Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, new Babylonian, 605 years before Christ, he rebuilt this building after the Sumerian. And we can see in this building the oldest arch, still to this time, small arch, but the beginning of the arch. On the right hand of this building, behind the mud bricks, only the foundation there, Geek Parko Temple. Geek Parko built by king called Amarsin. Amarsin, the third king in the third dynasty. He became the king of Ur during 2047, 2039 years before Christ. And the excavator found many objects to different kings, to different times in one room. So most of the excavators said that this is the beginning of the museums, because they found many objects to different kings, different times in one room. The foundation there behind Idublalmah Temple, square building, each side 55 meters, the royal palace. Behind the royal palace, royal tombs. Tomb of King Shulgi, the deep 5 meters and 55 centimeters, the length 10 meters and 70 centimeters. Beside it, tomb the servants and the guards of the king. The deep also 5 meters and 55 centimeters, and the length 7 meters and 70 centimeters. Behind it, tomb of King Amarsin. And during excavation they found tomb of a queen called Shabad or Puapi from the first dynasty. They found around her 59 bodies. That bodies for the servants and the guards of the queen. And they found with her a musical instrument, the golden harp. Now we cannot see the tomb of her because Queen Shabbat from the first dynasty, older than Ur-Nammu and Shulgi and Amarsin, and they built the tomb of her from mud. When they excavated it, it fell down. But the tombs, which is still to this time, they built it later during the third dynasty, and they used bricks and tar. This is imagination picture to Queen Shabbat or Puapi from the first dynasty, 2,450 years before Christ. Another building behind the royal tombs, the house of Prophet Abraham. In the holy books, in the Bible, and Genesis 11 and 15, in the Old Testament, page 10, also in the holy books in Islam and Jewish and other religions, and the historical books indicated that the Prophet Abraham born in Ur of Chaldees or Ur Chaldean. This is Ur Chaldean. Another books they called him Abram or Abram, the same name, different in the pronunciations. And then from the city immigrate from Ur to Haran, to Egypt, to Palestine, to different countries. Immigrate with him his father Tarih, the oldest wife of Prophet Abraham, Sarah, and the son of his brother Lot. Prophet Abraham, he lived in Ur, but not during the Sumerian time. After the Sumerian time, near the old Babylonian time, and they called that time Isilarsa time. Isilarsa time between 2025, 1763 years before Christ. This city in the past, not like now, desert, in the past surrounded with water. Euphrates River near the city in this direction about 2 kilometers, and now the water recede back about 15 kilometers. Now Euphrates River in the middle of Nasriya city, and Ur in the past center of trade in the river and in the land.
That have been discovered, the
Yes, between Iraq and the British museums.
British Museum in Iraq.
Yes, between these two museums. The Golden Harp in Iraqi Museum, the Golden Helmet in a British Museum.
Still there?
Yes. When some of the people they visit that museum and they see that object, they kept it, and also they're writing it, this thing found in Iraq and Ur and the date of it, and maybe they visit that museum more than here. So this is also to the benefit of the city, because many tourists came to there, to British Museum, and they found all these objects, and they are writing it, the name of the objects, the name of the king which they found in it, and also the date which when they found that objects. Are you wanted to see? You have time to see?
Yes.
Of the city, the length of the city from 4 to 5 kilometers, and the width between 1 kilometer and 2 kilometers. The inhabited section 1,200 meters the length, and the width 700 meters, and most of the city not excavated to this time. All the excavators, they excavated only some parts, but most of the city not excavated to this time. The name of this building called Idubl al-Makh Temple. The meaning of Idubl al-Makh, the great platform. This temple built by the Sumerian and rebuilt by Babylonian and Chaldean king called Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar knew Babylonian 605 years before Christ. He rebuilt this building after the Sumerian. This is the oldest arch. The arch original. Under the arch they rebuilt it. The corner original. Another corner original, and inside the building anything's original. They rebuilt only the front of the temple. In the past they used tar, but in that time not refinery of oil. They used natural tar, and they bring the tar from another city called Heat City. In Heat City they found source of natural tar, and Heat City situated near Euphrates River, and in the past this city near Euphrates River, so they bring the tar by boats, and they use the tar only in the important buildings. They use the tar in the temples, royal palace, royal tombs, but in the houses they not use tar because tar expensive thing in that time, and they bring it far from here.
If you need me to shoot anything, so you're in it, let me know.
tar between the bricks, and sometimes they used mud. They rebuilt only the front of the temple, and when they rebuilt, they used cement. Inside the building, anything's original, except the layer of the cement on the top new. They putting it in 1922 by Sir Leonard Woolley to protect the top of the wall from erosion, to protect the top of the wall from the storms and the rain and the sun. In this room, the excavator found idols. They putting idols, they thought that the idols help the people with the main god. The main god in that time, the moon. But they thought, they putting idols, they thought that the idols help the people with the main god. In this city, the moon, another city, the sun, another city, the wind. But in this city, the moon, why they choose the moon god in this city? The excavator said because this city in the past surrounded with water. So in the night, when they look into the water, they see the picture of the moon in the water at night. When they look into the sky, they see the picture of the moon in the sky. So they thought that is a great thing in the water and in the sky. And then they taking the moon as a main god in the city. This place excavated in 1922 by Sir Leonard Woolley. This building, square building, each side 55 meters, only one main entrance, only this main entrance. This is the Royal Palace. In some maps they call this building Sholgi Palace because most of the building built during the time of King Sholgi, but the foundation of the building built by king called Urnamu, and Urnamu the father of King Sholgi. The excavator found on the left hand of the entrance, he found a statue of King Urnamu carrying ball on his head. This means that this king participated with the workers to build the royal palace in that time. He encouraged the people to build the royal palace. Because the same time, always in the ancient cities, the oldest building, the deepest, and the buildings on the top and newer. If we look into this wall and to this wall, we can see different in the colors, different in the kind of the tar. Here they putting more quantities of tar between the bricks. This part rebuilt in 1961, and this part original. So in the past they used natural tar, and when they rebuilt they used tar from refinery of oil. The excavator, he thought that here the bathroom, because the level of this room higher than other rooms, and the excavator found a small canal, the roof of this canal by bricks, and he found pit to the water. So the excavator, he thought that they made the level of this room higher in order the water go down to the pit, and the excavator, he thought that here the bathroom. This white stone door hinge. In the past, the door in that time like this. The door in that time from wood. So they putting the base of the door here in order to make the movement of the door easily when they opened and closed the door, and in order the base of the door not dig the ground. So they putting this pit in the base of the door. Sometimes they found another stone on the top and they put it down, like this.
Gotta have a door on the bathroom.
That's amazing though, that time.
1922 by Sir Leonardo Willie, and the excavator found more than 2,000 tombs in this large pit. So here a cemetery of common people. The city of Ur in the past surrounded two walls around the city. One of that walls, they called it Igish Shirgal. Igish Shirgal, it means the sacred wall. The sacred wall around the temples, royal palace, royal tomb. Here part of the sacred wall. The sacred wall built by the Sumerian. Another wall, the length of the sacred wall, 400 meters, and the width 220 meters. Another wall, they found some parts of that wall near the trees. That wall, they built it by Babylonian king, and they built it from mud bricks. This is the map of the city and the two walls around the city. Here direction north in this direction. This is the ziggurat, the big building, the main temple of the moon god. Here another temples. Here a royal palace, one entrance behind us here. Here royal tombs, that's the royal tombs. And this is the sacred wall around the temples, royal palace, royal tombs. And here another wall, a big wall around all the city, this wall. And the house of Prophet Abraham between the two walls. Here the house of Prophet Abraham, behind the royal tombs. This is the house.
Did you say they found some of the other wall out there by the trees?
Yes, they found some parts of that wall in 1922, but they excavated in 1922 also about 82 years. So that part also covered by sand again. And that wall, they built it from mud bricks. But they found some parts of that wall in 1922. Here, tomb of common person. Another tomb here also common, regular, not kings.
So they bury layer on top of layer?
Sometimes they found graves or houses, and they found on that house another house. So this means the different things. This means this man older than that. Different layers. Because the city of Ur, they lived in this city not 400 years or 200. They lived in this city from 4,000 years before Christ until 500 years before Christ. So this means that the population in this city about 3,500 years. So a long time. So they found different levels. In this side, one of the royal tombs, tomb of King Sholgi. The deep 5 meters and 55 centimeters, the length 10 meters and 70 centimeters, and the width 4 meters. Here they found skeletons, bones, not mummy, and they found with the bones tablets the name of the king called Sholgi. They found with him weapons, golden daggers, and also they put him eating and drinking because they thought he became alive again. In this side, tomb, the servants and the guards of the king. In that time when the king died, they putting the servants and the guards alive. And another story said when the king died, the servants and the guards are drinking poison. If you want to go down, as you like. But be careful from the stairs.
We got the camera, so I just go there. Sorry. What's the work in here?
The king near the entrance, they made pit to him putting the bones, the weapons, the eating, drinking, and then they cover the pit by sand. And when they putting the body of the king, they putting some of the servants and the guards with him in this tomb. And when they putting them, they close the door. They built the door by mud bricks and putting sand behind the entrance, so they leave the room empty. The wood new, they putting it in 1922 by Sir Leonard Woolley to support the roof. These small holes also for expansion, because here they use tar between the bricks, so they left it as joints for expansion.
Buried with the king.
Here just servants and guards. That room king and some of the servants, and here servants and guards of the king. This is smaller. Tomb, the servants and the guards of King Shulgi. Shulgi, the second king in the third dynasty, and this king, he became the king of Ur for a long time, for 47 years. 2095, he became the king of Ur during 2095, 2048 years before Christ. It means 47 years. Here they found in the royal tomb, near the royal tombs. Talking about the achievements of King Amarsin, the working of King Amarsin. Why this writing talking about the working of King Amarsin? Because here tomb of King Amarsin. On the left hand of the entrance tomb of King Amarsin, on the right hand the servants and the guards of King Amarsin. The kind of this writing called cuneiform. Here and here another writing, and here, here, here. This hole, the roof of the tomb of the servants and the guards, the roof of the tomb fell down before some years was running, and the roof fell down. So here tomb the servants and guards of King Amas, the entrance from there. But the roof fell down.
Talking English too. I know what you're saying.
All these houses returned back to Israel after time between 2025 1763 years before Christ. And here the house of Prophet Abraham. They rebuilt this house. They rebuilt it on original foundation. The map of this house, the original foundation. A big house, 27 rooms, 5 courtyards, 3 stairs. We can see original parts in the house like the floor original, and the drainage system in the house also original. From here Prophet Abraham immigrated to Haran and then to another countries. He had 2 wives, 2 sons, Isaac, his mother called Sarah, and Ismail, his mother called Hajar. And the excavator said that this house, a big house, because Tarih, the father of Prophet Abraham, rich man, his father made and selling idols, and in that time not anyone selling idols, because idols, it means the God for some people at that time. So not anyone selling God as they thought.
Do you know about how old Abram was when he...
Yeah, his birthplace and he's still for here. He's still here in this place. Some of the books said 60 and another said 70 years. So between 67 years,
Then he went
he's
to
still
Haran.
here, and then the beginning of the prophecy also here, and then immigrate to Haran. His age 175 and died.
Is this a bathroom or drainage?
Drainage. The floor original, and here drainage system also original. Here courtyard, not roof, open. When it was running, the water of the rain go down in this pipe. If we looking in the pipe, we can see small holes by the fingers in the pipe. They made these small holes in order the water of the rain seep in the ground. In addition to these small holes, they made canal in the bottom of this pipe. This is drainage full by sand. We can see another drainage in another courtyard deeper.
You say there's a canal also?
Yes, on the bottom. The canal from the roof of it from bricks.
Yes.
They're putting bricks here, and one. In the corner here, shells. The first and second shells from the bottom original, and the three new. The first and second shelves, the bricks original, but in the past they used mud between the bricks in this house. When they rebuilt the house, they used gypsum, but the bricks original of first and second shelves from the bottom.
Moro naquele canto lá assim cima. É original. Outra vez, ventam a reconstruir a fundação de casa, mas aqui tinha aqui sem original. Queria para a cor de chuva, tinha. Você tem teto aberto aqui, chuva, a água está lá debaixo, está sair fora.
Here a big courtyard, square courtyard, each side 10 meters. The floor original, and they made the floor slope in order the water go down in this drainage. This drainage deeper than that. The courtyard's open, not roof, but the roof of the rooms around the courtyard from wood and reeds. In the rooms they not found windows. They depended on the courtyard to taking the light and the ventilation to the rooms through the doors. This house, one level, and the second level, 2 rooms. How we know that the second level, 2 rooms? Because Sir Leonard Willie, Englishman who excavated here in 1922, he found original map on a big brick, and they drawing the house 1 level and 2 rooms on the second level. But when they rebuilt the house, they not rebuilt the 2 rooms. You want to go upstairs, but not roof, to walking only on the wall. You want? You can see all the house on the top. Sometimes they found the tombs the bones in tomb from pottery. Sometimes they putting them only in the sand. Some of them they build them small tombs like here, small tombs of these. For different tombs, for different structures. Perhaps they call this pit Willy Pit because the name of the excavator who made this pit called Sir Leonard Willy, so they called it Willy Pit. The another name they called it Float Pit with the Leonard Willy Geological. They made this pit to know the floods, and they found layers of two floods. The first flood 4,000 years before Christ. The second flood 2,900 years before Christ. Most of the excavators said the second flood, 2,900 years BC, the Noah flood, a great flood. In the corner of the pit here, section of a drainage system, like in the house of Prophet Abraham. Why they putting these pieces around the pipe? Because in the pipe they made small holes in order the water seep in the ground. In order the small holes in the pipe not closed. If there is mud around the pipe, maybe the holes closed. So they putting these pieces in order the small holes not closed, and in order the water seep in the ground easily through the small holes.
Can you see the evidence of the flood in the layers here?
They
know where it
excavated this place in 1922. So some of the layers, maybe you see the black one here, this is
Black one.
the end of what the layers now filled by sand, most of the layers.
So was this the second flood, the black layer?
Yes, the second flood on the top.
So
Correct.
The
The
second flood
first flood deeper.
was the
The ziggurat after the flood.
after the
The
flood.
flood 2,900 years BC.
Okay, and that's the flood supposedly cover the whole earth.
But the flood 2,900 years BC. So the flood before the ziggurat, before Prophet Abraham. So most of the buildings which is still to this time after the flood.
After the flood.
Most of the buildings before the flood destroyed. Most of the buildings now can see the tombs
Right.
after the flood to
After
the
the
third
flood.
dynasty. But the flood 2,900 years before Christ.
So the first flood you're saying is down below this level now
Yes,
because
yes.
it's starting to fill back in.
Yes.
And the second flood is the great one.
Yes, the great, because they found the layer of the second flood in all the directions of the city. They made another pits and they found the layer of that flood in all the directions, the second. But the first flood, Ur and South Ur only. Not a big flood like the second, the great flood.
Estamos primero a Pick his ball spot.
Smile.
Like a water drain.
Yeah, it's a downspout.
Downspout, yeah.
Well, this concludes our tour. You've heard a lot of information, a lot of good details from the curator. I'm sure there's a lot more out there and a lot more research that can be done, but I think it helps us give a good context, realizing that Abraham, the patriarch of a number of different religions, originated in this type of area. You wonder about a moon god and worshiping that, and you realize this is an area or a culture where there were many gods, many different ones. The structure behind us was for a moon god, but Abraham was called out to go worship and to follow the true God, the great I Am. Hope you enjoyed your tour and look forward to finding out more information. Go for it. Find it out. God bless.